I told the alien woman her legs were beautiful. She said, I have something prettier. Want to see? Kai stood on the edge of the observation deck, staring at the endless stars beyond the glass. The Aurora Vanguard drifted silently through the void, a lone human ship among a sea of alien civilizations. His mission was simple yet daunting: first contact. Humanity had learned to travel far, faster than ever before, but this was different. This was not a scientific expedition. This was a chance to show the galaxy what humans could do. He adjusted the comlink on his wrist and glanced around the deck. Other crew members were busy with charts, scans, and data streams, but Kai felt a strange anticipation, almost like a heartbeat in the cold vacuum. Then a ripple passed through the glass. It wasn't a ship, not exactly. Something or someone was approaching. A figure appeared, standing just outside the observation glass. Kai blinked. She was tall, elegant, and unlike anything he had ever seen. Her skin shimmered faintly under the distant starlight, smooth and iridescent, like the surface of a pearl. Her legs were long, sculpted, and seemed to move with a rhythm that made the deck hum in his chest. He knew he shouldn't stare, but he couldn't help it. Hello, he said, voice catching slightly. The alien woman tilted her head, and her eyes, large and liquid, focused on him. There was intelligence there, curiosity, and something that made his stomach twist. Greetings, she said. Her voice was musical, almost like wind chimes in a soft breeze. I am Elira, Kai swallowed. I'm Kai. I just wanted to say, your legs, they're beautiful. Elira paused. Her lips curved into a faint smile, and for a moment the stars seemed to pause as well. Thank you, she said. Then with a slight tilt of her head, she added, I have something prettier. Want to see? Kai's eyebrows shot up. Yes, of course. The glass shimmered around her as if responding to her thought. Suddenly she moved, or rather appeared, inside the deck, though there had been no door, no opening. Kai blinked. How did you? Elira's smile widened, but it was not malicious. It was playful, almost teasing. We do not always use the same ways you do, Kai. Humans see, touch, and move. We think and we appear. Kai tried to process that, but his mind was already racing with a mix of fear, awe, and curiosity. Humans were clever, yes, but this was something entirely different. Elira extended her hand. Come, I will show you what I meant. He hesitated only for a second. Something in her eyes told him she meant no harm, and humans had always thrived in the face of the unknown. He stepped forward. The corridor beyond the observation deck was not a corridor at all. It felt liquid, like walking through the inside of a wave. Colors swirled softly around him, forming shapes that were both familiar and alien. The sensation made his heart race and his skin tingle. Elira floated beside him, or above him, in a way that defied gravity. This is my world, she said, her voice echoing strangely. Or part of it. I wanted you to see the beauty we hold inside, not just outside. Kai followed, unable to tear his eyes away. Inside. You mean your home, the planet? She shook her head. Not a planet, not physical. This is the space we carry within us. Every being carries something like this, but few share it. Kai felt a thrill of both wonder and nervousness. Humans had always explored, always touched, always measured. And yet here was a being that had no need for measurement, a being whose beauty was not just skin-deep but woven into the very essence of her existence. They entered a room, or what seemed like a room. Light pulsed softly from the walls, changing color with each step he took. Shapes emerged from the light, forming patterns that seemed like living beings, yet they were abstract, flowing, luminous. Kai's jaw dropped. This is incredible, he whispered. How do you do this? Elira moved closer. We do not create, we reveal. Humans think of art as separate from life. We see it as life itself. Now you will see something prettier than legs. Before Kai could respond, the shapes shifted. They formed a figure, tall and slender, but unlike Elira, it glowed with a warmth that seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. Its movements were graceful, a dance that seemed to tell a story without words. Kai felt a strange resonance, as if his own heart and mind were responding to some deep, hidden frequency. What is that? He asked, voice trembling. Something very old, Elira said softly. Something we hold in trust. It is not just beautiful. It is alive in ways you have not yet imagined. Kai stepped closer, drawn by the dance, by the colors, by the sense of life. Each step seemed to open his mind further. Humans had always adapted, had always learned, but nothing had prepared him for this. The living art seemed to respond to his presence, moving in harmony with him, almost as if recognizing a kinship he had never felt before. This is amazing, he whispered. I've never seen anything like it. Elira's smile returned. You are human. That is why you see it differently. You are capable of wonder because you notice, because you feel. Others might see only shapes, colors, and lights. You see possibilities. Kai swallowed, his mind racing. Possibilities for what? She tilted her head. For understanding. For connection. For change. Kai felt a spark of determination. Humanity had always been underestimated. In the face of stronger, faster, or more advanced civilizations, humans had survived by thinking, adapting, and daring. And now here he was, standing inside a living, breathing work of art, being shown a truth that could redefine what it meant to be human. Elira stepped back, letting the shapes fade into soft, glowing threads. It is enough for now. You have seen something prettier. But there is more, Kai. You are not ready for all of it yet. Kai nodded, though he had no idea how to respond. The experience had left him trembling with awe and curiosity. I want to learn. I want to see more. Her eyes softened. And you will. But first, you must understand something about your people, something vital. Humans are not just another species. You carry within you a spark, creativity, courage, willpower that others cannot replicate. That is why you matter. Kai's chest swelled with pride. Humans had faced extinction, war, and countless challenges. And yet here he was, a simple human standing in the presence of a being who could bend reality, being told that humans had something unique, something powerful. What do I need to do? He asked. Observe, she said simply. Learn, and remember that the beauty you see outside in legs or shapes is only a reflection of what is inside. Humans, more than any other, have the power to shape the universe, not just survive in it, but to change it. Kai felt a shiver run down his spine. The stakes were high, the mysteries vast, but for the first time in his life, he understood that humanity had something truly extraordinary to offer. And somehow, Elira had chosen him to witness it first. As they returned to the observation deck, Kai glanced at the stars again. They seemed brighter, more alive. He knew this was only the beginning. The universe was enormous, full of dangers, wonders, and challenges, but humans had something that could make a difference. Something unique. Elira lingered at the glass, her eyes reflecting starlight. You will see more soon, she said, and when you do, you will understand why humans are remarkable. Kai nodded, his heart racing. He did not yet know what lay ahead, but he was ready. For the first time, he felt that humanity was not just part of the galaxy. It could be a force within it. And as he watched Elira vanish back into the void outside, he realized that the journey had truly begun. Kai woke slowly the next cycle, the soft hum of the Aurora Vanguard around him. Sleep had not been easy. His mind was still alive with images of Elira's world, the flowing shapes, the living art, and that strange sense of energy that seemed to reach inside him. He knew, deep down, that nothing would ever be the same. He rose from his bunk and moved to the observation deck. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, cold and infinite, yet alive in a way he could now almost feel. And there she was, Elira. Only this time she was waiting for him, hovering just beyond the glass. Her iridescent skin caught the starlight, shifting colors with every movement, and Kai felt a familiar thrill of awe. Good morning, Kai, she said. I see you have rested well. Kai rubbed the back of his neck. I think so. But my mind keeps going back to what I saw last time. The shapes, the living art, it's incredible. I don't even know how to describe it. Elira smiled. You do not need words. Humans often try too hard to describe. Experience is enough, and today you will experience more. Are you ready? Kai nodded. He felt a surge of determination. Humanity had always risen to challenges, no matter how strange or dangerous, and whatever Elira was showing him, he wanted to face it. She gestured, and the glass shimmered again. Come. This time, the world beyond the deck was different. The familiar corridor of shifting colors had transformed. Now, Kai saw a vast expanse, stretching farther than he could imagine. Light twisted into shapes that resembled forests, mountains, rivers, and skies, but none of it felt fixed. It moved, breathed, and shimmered like a living dream. Kai took a cautious step forward. Is this another world? Elira floated beside him. Yes, but not in the way you think. This is a hidden realm. Few beings can enter it, and fewer still can interact without causing imbalance. You, Kai, are unique. Kai felt a mix of pride and fear. Humans had survived against odds, but this was beyond survival. This was learning to exist in a place that seemed to bend reality itself. Elira extended her hand. Step lightly, observe carefully. Everything here is alive and it responds to thought and emotion. Your mind matters. Kai took a deep breath and followed her. As he stepped forward, the ground beneath him shimmered. Tiny lights rose like fireflies, forming patterns that resembled constellations he had seen in space. They danced around his feet as if welcoming him. This is amazing, he whispered. It feels alive. Because it is, Elira said softly. Everything here has a purpose, a rhythm, a memory. Watch closely, and you may understand more than words can teach. As they moved deeper, the landscape shifted. Hills of light rose and fell, rivers of color flowed in patterns that defied physics, and skies changed from gold to purple to deep blue all within seconds. Yet it was not chaotic. There was harmony, a logic that Kai could sense but not yet fully grasp. Suddenly, a shape emerged from the river of light. It resembled a creature, tall, graceful, and shimmering, but it moved with an intelligence that was undeniable. Kai instinctively took a step back. "Do not fear," Elira said. "It is curious, but it means no harm. Everything here senses you. Humans carry something unusual. It is part of why you are welcome." Kai's curiosity overcame his fear. "Unusual? How?" Elira's eyes glimmered. "You feel deeply, Kai. You notice, you imagine. These traits allow humans to interact with what others cannot. Your creativity, your courage, your will to explore, these are signals to this realm. It knows you are capable." Kai's chest swelled. Humanity had always survived because of these traits, but he had never thought of them as special. And yet, Elira's words made him feel that humans could truly be remarkable in ways no one had yet imagined. The creature approached him, its form shifting like liquid light. It seemed to study him, tilting its head, and then, unexpectedly, it changed. A burst of colors shot outward, forming patterns around Kai, and he felt a warmth spreading through him. It was not just energy, it was understanding. "You see," Elira said, "even this realm recognizes you. Humans can reach places others cannot, not with strength or speed, but with mind and spirit." Kai felt a rush of pride. He had always thought humans were limited, fragile compared to stronger or faster species. But here he realized they had a gift that could change everything. As they continued, Elira led him to a hill where the light flowed like a waterfall. "This is the heart of the realm," she said. "It responds to what is within you. If you are brave, curious, and thoughtful, it will show wonders, but if fear dominates, it retreats. Watch closely." Kai stepped closer, feeling the energy hum beneath his feet. He focused on wonder, on curiosity, and the heart responded. Shapes and figures appeared, reflecting histories, possibilities, and visions of the universe that Kai could scarcely comprehend. "Is this real?" he asked. "Or just imagination?" Elira smiled. "Both. Reality is not fixed here. It bends to thought, intention, and spirit. Humans often think linearly, but your kind can dream beyond limits. That is why you are remarkable." Kai's mind raced. He imagined distant planets, thriving civilizations, humans exploring beyond what they thought possible, and the heart of the realm shifted in response. He felt a connection not just to Elira but to the universe itself. "See, Kai," Elira said, "you can touch the universe without leaving your place. Humans are capable of more than they realize. The spark within you can shape the cosmos in ways others cannot." Kai took a deep breath, realizing the weight of her words. Humans had always faced impossible odds, but they had survived and thrived because of courage, creativity, and willpower. Here, those traits mattered more than ever. Suddenly, a voice echoed in his mind, not Elira's, but something older, deeper. It was gentle like wind through leaves, yet powerful. "Human, you carry light where others see darkness. You may walk among stars and shapes, and you may leave your mark." Kai gasped. "Elira, did you hear that?" She nodded. "Yes, it is a voice of the realm. It speaks to those it deems worthy. Humans, despite your weaknesses, carry something extraordinary. Remember this, Kai, and learn." As they descended the hill, the energy around them pulsed softly, revealing glimpses of creatures, landscapes, and civilizations Kai had never imagined. Every step, every movement was a lesson in observation, understanding, and presence. Finally, they reached a plateau where the light condensed into shapes that resembled buildings, cities, and ships, but all flowing, alive, and beautiful. Kai felt a thrill of recognition. Humans had always built, always imagined, always reached for the stars. Here he saw echoes of that same drive reflected in this alien yet harmonious realm. "This is incredible," he said. "It's like a universe made of life and thought." Elira's eyes glimmered. Yes, and humans can do the same in their way. You may not bend reality like this, but your courage, your ingenuity, your creativity, these are your tools. And one day they may reach far beyond what you now see. Kai felt a surge of determination. He had always wanted to make a difference, to show that humans could achieve the impossible. And now, standing in the heart of an alien, living realm, he understood that humans could reach heights no one had imagined. Elira extended her hand. Rest now. Tomorrow you will learn to interact, not just observe. Humans are remarkable because you do not wait for life to shape you, you shape life, and the universe will notice. Kai nodded, his mind alive with possibilities. The journey had only begun, but he felt ready. Humanity was not just a species among many. It was a spark, a force, a possibility. And with Elira's guidance, he would learn to understand it, harness it, and perhaps, one day, change the universe itself. As he lay down that night, Kai's thoughts were filled with shapes, colors, and visions of far-off worlds. He realized that humans had always dreamed, always created, always reached for the stars. And now, more than ever, he understood that those traits were not just survival, they were the essence of greatness. Tomorrow, he would step further into Elira's world. Tomorrow, he would learn not just to observe, but to act. And with every step, every thought, every spark of creativity, Kai knew humanity's time among the stars had only just begun. Kai woke to the soft hum of the Aurora Vanguard, but this time he did not feel the quiet awe of yesterday. Today, a sense of purpose stirred within him. Elira had promised more than observation. She had promised interaction, learning, and a glimpse into what humans could truly achieve. He found her waiting at the observation deck, just as the first light of distant stars brushed the glass. "Good morning, Kai," she said. "Are you ready to act, not just watch?" Kai nodded. "Yes, I want to understand everything." Elira extended her hand, and the glass shimmered. The corridor of light appeared again, fluid and flowing, inviting him into a realm where reality itself seemed flexible. But today, the realm was different. The colors were brighter, more intense, and shapes moved with a sense of purpose. It was as though the hidden world itself was aware of Kai's intention. "Today, you will interact with the realm," Elira explained. "Observation is the first step. Interaction is the trial. The realm responds to your thoughts, emotions, and decisions. Do you trust yourself?" Kai took a deep breath. Humans had always survived challenges by trusting themselves, by relying on intuition, creativity, and courage. "I trust myself," he said firmly. Elira smiled. "Then step forward." As Kai entered, the light shifted, forming a vast arena of flowing energy. Columns of luminous shapes rose and fell around him. Figures appeared, abstract but intelligent, moving in intricate patterns. They watched him silently, as if judging his every move. "These are guardians," Elira said softly. "They test understanding, empathy, and ingenuity. Humans are not the strongest, but you are clever. Use that." Kai felt a shiver. He had faced dangers, explorers, and hostile conditions, but never had he faced a test where the rules themselves were alive, changing with every step. A column of light rose in front of him, splitting into two paths. One path twisted upward into an impossible spiral, the other stretched forward like a bridge of liquid stars. He hesitated. How could he know which path to take? Elira's voice echoed in his mind. "Observe first, then act. The realm responds to thought." Kai closed his eyes and focused. Humans had a way of noticing patterns others overlooked. He imagined the energy, the flow, the harmony he had witnessed yesterday. Slowly, he reached out with his mind, sensing the paths, feeling their potential. The bridge of liquid stars pulsed warmly, as though recognizing his intention. I choose this one," he said. The bridge responded. It stabilized, light solidifying under his feet like a river freezing into crystal. Kai stepped forward, amazed at the sensation of movement that felt both real and unreal. The guardians followed silently, watching but not interfering. Midway, a shape emerged, a puzzle of energy, twisting and shifting, almost like a lock with no key. Kai realized the challenge. The realm wanted him to think, to create solutions, not to force his way. He touched the shape, and immediately it responded, splitting into fragments that hovered in the air. Kai examined them carefully. Each fragment reflected a possibility, a different path. Humans had always faced choices with limited information, relying on observation and reasoning. Slowly, he moved the fragments, aligning them until a pattern emerged. The shape dissolved, forming a glowing doorway. Elira's voice rang softly. Excellent, Kai. You see what others cannot. Human ingenuity is not about force. It is about insight. Kai smiled, a mix of pride and relief. He felt the thrill of triumph, but also an awareness. The realm was testing more than skill. It was testing patience, perception, and spirit. Beyond the doorway, the light shifted again. Now the arena transformed into a series of landscapes, each representing challenges. Mountains of floating energy, rivers that flowed upward, forests that bent toward thought. He could feel the guardians observing, and the stakes seemed higher. Kai focused on the first challenge, the mountains. They were vast, jagged columns of energy that seemed impossible to climb. Yet, humans had always found ways to overcome impossible obstacles. He studied the energy, noticing that certain colors pulsed in patterns. Following these pulses, he discovered paths that were invisible until he aligned his steps with the rhythm. One by one, Kai climbed the peaks, feeling exhilaration at each successful step. His mind and body moved together, sensing patterns, timing movements, and responding to the subtle signals of the realm. The guardians watched silently, occasionally shifting closer, observing how he solved problems without force, without fear. Next came the rivers flowing upward. Kai paused. At first he tried to jump, to use force, but he remembered Elira's lessons. Observation first. He watched the flow, noticed the currents, and realized he could move along with the energy instead of against it. Slowly, he allowed himself to rise with the river, using the natural flow to guide him, his mind aligned with the rhythm of the realm. When he reached the other side, the river dissolved into light, leaving only glowing mist. Kai breathed deeply, realizing that the realm rewarded harmony, not domination. Humans had always used ingenuity, collaboration, and creativity to survive. Here, those traits were invaluable. Finally, he reached the forests. They were alive, moving as he approached, branches and shapes responding to emotion. Fear made them tense, curiosity drew them closer. Kai focused on wonder and calm, and the forest opened paths, guiding him toward a central clearing. In the clearing, a large orb of light hovered, pulsing with energy. It radiated warmth and intelligence. Kai approached, feeling a strange resonance in his chest. He understood instinctively this was the final test. Interaction, connection. Elira's voice echoed softly. Reach out. Humans have something no other species carries. Imagination combined with courage. Use it. Kai focused, imagining the universe, the possibilities, the connections between life, energy, and thought. He reached out mentally, touching the orb with intention, not force. The orb responded, expanding into a vast network of light, weaving patterns that told stories of creation, survival, and potential. Kai gasped. He could see echoes of civilizations, possibilities for life, and glimpses of what humanity might achieve. The realm responded to his mind, recognizing not just his presence but his understanding, his spirit, and his ability to dream. You see now, Kai, Elira said, appearing beside him, glowing softly. Humanity is more than survival. You think, imagine, and act. You shape the universe in ways others cannot. That is your power. Kai felt pride, humility, and all at once. Humans had faced dangers, adversity, and limitations, yet they had survived and often thrived because of these very traits. Here in Elira's realm, he understood that those traits could reach beyond survival into true influence, understanding, and creation. Suddenly, the orb condensed, forming a figure. It resembled Elira, but its energy was vast, ancient, and wise. It spoke not in words, but in understanding. Human, you are capable. You carry light, courage, and insight. You can face challenges, guide life, and reach beyond limits. Your kind is remarkable. Kai felt tears of amazement welling in his eyes. He nodded. I understand. And I want to learn more, to grow, to help humanity reach what it can become. The orb shimmered, radiating approval. The forests, rivers, and mountains around him seemed to respond, pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. The guardians bowed, acknowledging his success. Elira placed a hand on his shoulder. You have passed the first trial, Kai. Observation, insight, courage, and action, you have shown all. But this is only the beginning. The universe is vast, and humans have only begun to understand what they can achieve. Kai exhaled, feeling both relief and anticipation. The challenges of the realm had pushed him to the limits of thought and perception, but he had succeeded. And with each success, he understood more about humanity's unique strength, the ability to combine imagination, courage, and intellect to solve problems others could not. As they returned to the observation deck, Kai looked back at the realm. It shimmered, waiting, alive, full of possibilities. He knew that Elira's lessons would continue, and that he would face trials even more complex. But for the first time, he truly believed in the potential of humans, not just to survive, but to shape the cosmos. Tomorrow, Elira said, you will begin to create, not just respond. Humans shape the future because you do not wait for life to shape you. You act, imagine, and change it. That is why you matter. Kai nodded, determination blazing. He understood now that humans were more than a species. They were a force for possibility, creativity, and hope. And with Elira's guidance, he would learn to reach that potential, step by step, challenge by challenge, toward a future where humanity could truly shine among the stars. Kai awoke with a renewed sense of purpose. The trials of the mind had changed him. For the first time, he truly understood the power humans carried: imagination, courage, insight. Elira had shown him that humanity was more than survival. It could shape reality, influence life, and reach beyond limits. He dressed quickly and moved to the observation deck. Elira was already there, her luminous skin catching the light of distant stars, shifting softly like liquid color. She looked at him with a smile that seemed to hold both pride and expectation. "Today," she said, "you will create." Observation and interaction were only the beginning. Now humans will see the power of their imagination turned into reality. "Are you ready, Kai?" Kai nodded. "Yes, I want to try." The glass shimmered and the corridor of light appeared. Unlike before, it did not twist and flow aimlessly. It felt purposeful, like a path designed for action. Kai followed Elira, his heart racing with excitement and a touch of nervousness. They arrived at a vast plateau, stretching farther than Kai could see. Light shimmered across the surface, forming grids and patterns like a canvas waiting for a painter. Kai realized that this was different from the previous trials. The realm was no longer testing him, it was waiting for him to act. Elira hovered beside him. "This is your space. Here you may create, shape, and influence. Use your mind, your heart, and your insight. Humans carry a unique spark, the ability to take what exists and imagine what could be. Show it now." Kai took a deep breath. He closed his eyes and thought about what he wanted to create. Humans had always dreamed, always built, always imagined possibilities that seemed impossible. He focused on that spirit, letting ideas form in his mind. Slowly, light around him began to shift, responding to his thought. A small structure emerged, delicate at first, like a glowing crystal. As Kai concentrated, it grew, forming towers, bridges, and pathways. The plateau responded to his intention, expanding, shaping, and adapting to his vision. Kai's heart leaped. He was creating not by force but by will and imagination. This is incredible," he whispered. "It feels alive." "Yes," Elira said. "Life responds to intent, but true creation is more than form. It is harmony, understanding, and connection. Humans are capable of more than you know." Kai looked around. The landscape was vast, and he could see endless possibilities. He imagined rivers flowing through his structures, glowing paths connecting distant towers, and gardens of light spreading across the plateau. As he focused, the realm responded. Every idea became reality, every thought shaped the world. But creation was not without challenge. Some areas resisted, flickering and collapsing when he tried to impose a shape too rigid or unnatural. Kai realized that the realm had rules, subtle laws that required understanding. Humans had always faced limits, yet found ways to overcome them with observation, ingenuity, and adaptation. Kai adjusted, letting his mind flow with the energy of the realm. Instead of forcing, he guided, shaping with harmony and intent. Slowly, the areas that resisted began to stabilize, forming structures more complex and beautiful than anything he could have imagined. "This is amazing," Kai said, awe in his voice. "It's like I can bring thoughts to life." "Yes," Elira said. "But remember, humans are not just creators. You are observers, learners, and adapters. True power lies in understanding the balance between imagination and reality." As Kai continued, he noticed patterns emerging, shapes and structures that seemed to echo the history of life in the universe. He realized that creation was not random. It reflected understanding, empathy, and insight. Humans, with their unique perception, were able to create forms that were functional, harmonious, and beautiful. Suddenly, a wave of energy surged across the plateau. The glowing structures trembled, bending and twisting. Kai's mind raced. This was no longer simple creation. The realm was testing him. He had to adapt quickly or risk losing control of his work. Elira's voice echoed. "Do not panic. Humans thrive under challenge. Observe, understand, and act." Kai focused, analyzing the wave. It was not hostile, it was a force, responding to patterns and energy flows. He realized that by shifting his intent, he could guide the wave rather than resist it. Slowly, he aligned his thoughts with the energy, letting it flow through the structures. The trembling ceased and the plateau stabilized, even more beautiful than before. "You see," Elira said, "human adaptability is unmatched. You do not simply react, you learn, adjust, and create solutions. That is why your species survives and thrives." Kai smiled, feeling pride and excitement. Humans had always faced impossible odds, yet they had endured. Now, in Elira's realm, he saw that same strength magnified, a combination of creativity, courage, and insight that could shape reality itself. Encouraged, Kai expanded his creation further. Bridges spanned glowing rivers, towers reached toward shimmering skies, and gardens of energy blossomed across the plateau. He experimented with patterns, light, and movement, discovering that even small adjustments could create astonishing effects. The Guardians appeared again, observing silently. Kai realized they were not just judges, they were teachers, helping him understand the deeper principles of creation. He began to sense patterns in their presence, subtle guidance that allowed him to refine his work. Hours, or perhaps moments, time was different here, passed. Kai's creations grew, weaving together structures, landscapes, and flows of energy into a living, harmonious whole. He felt a profound connection to the realm, as if he were not separate from it, but part of its energy and rhythm. "Humanity has always reached for the stars," Elira said, her voice soft but strong. "You imagine, explore, and adapt. Your creations may be physical or abstract, but they reflect the same qualities. This realm responds because you carry insight and courage others do not." Kai paused, taking a step back to admire his work. The plateau glowed with life, harmony, and movement. He felt joy, pride, and humility all at once. Humans had survived countless challenges, and here he realized they could truly leave a mark, not through strength alone, but through creativity, insight, and courage. Then a new challenge emerged. A dark shadow flickered across the plateau, distorting the light and shapes. Kai felt tension rise. This was no ordinary test. It was a challenge to his understanding and creativity. He realized the shadow represented obstacles humans might face: fear, doubt, and the unknown. Kai closed his eyes, focusing on the principles that had guided him so far. He imagined clarity, harmony, and light, letting his intention flow into the shadow. Slowly, the darkness dissolved, transforming into patterns of energy that enhanced his creation. "You have done well," Elira said. "Humans do not always have the strongest forms or the fastest speed, but your ability to observe, adapt, and imagine solutions is unmatched. That is why you are remarkable." Kai felt a swell of confidence. He realized that the challenges he had faced were not only tests, they were lessons. Humans had always succeeded not because of raw power, but because of insight, courage, and the ability to imagine what others could not. As the energy of the plateau pulsed in harmony with his heartbeat, Kai understood something profound. Creation was not about control. It was about understanding, observation, and intent. Humans had an advantage that could reach far beyond survival. They could influence, shape, and inspire. Elira floated beside him. "Tomorrow, you will see how humans can extend this power beyond themselves. You will learn to influence not just a single space, but possibilities across the universe. That is the true strength of your kind." Kai nodded, feeling a mixture of awe and anticipation. He had learned so much already, yet he knew there were greater challenges ahead. The ability to create, adapt, and understand the universe was only the beginning. As he lay down to rest, Kai's mind raced with ideas. He imagined structures of light-spanning galaxies, civilizations thriving through creativity and courage, and humanity reaching heights no one had yet dreamed of. The power within him, the spark of imagination and will, felt limitless. He understood now that Elira's realm was more than a test or a lesson. It was a mirror reflecting what humanity could achieve when it embraced its strengths. Observation, insight, courage, and imagination, these were not just traits. They were the foundation of greatness. Kai smiled as he drifted into sleep, the plateau glowing softly in his mind. He knew that tomorrow his journey would take him even further. Humans were not just part of the universe, they had the power to shape it. And with Elira guiding him, Kai was ready to show the full potential of humanity. Kai awoke with the warmth of anticipation. He knew that today would be the culmination of all he had learned. Observation, interaction, and creation had taught him much, but now Elira had promised the ultimate lesson, humanity's place in the universe. He arrived at the observation deck, and as usual, Elira was there, radiant under the distant starlight. Her expression was serene yet full of expectation. "Today, Kai," she said, "you will see what humans can truly accomplish. The universe is vast, full of possibilities and challenges. You have learned to observe, interact, and create. Now you will learn to influence, not just a single space, but a web of possibilities across time and space." Kai's heart raced. Humans had always thrived through ingenuity, courage, and determination. The thought that he might extend that influence to the broader universe filled him with awe. "I am ready," he said firmly. Elira extended her hand, and the corridor of light shimmered. This time, the path was wider, stretching endlessly into a realm that pulsed with energy and possibility. Kai stepped forward, feeling the familiar thrill of entering a living space that responded to mind, heart, and spirit. "This is the network of possibilities," Elira explained. "It connects all realities, all energies, all potential outcomes. Few species can perceive it and fewer can influence it. Humans can. You have the spark, the combination of courage, imagination, and insight to shape what might be." Kai looked around in amazement. Patterns of light stretched endlessly in every direction, forming pathways, branching streams, and flowing currents of energy. Some were bright and stable, others flickered uncertainly, waiting for attention, guidance, or understanding. "You must choose," Elira continued. "Decide where your influence will be strongest. Observe carefully, then act. Remember, humans create not by force, but by insight." Kai focused, letting his mind move through the streams of energy. He saw possibilities for civilizations thriving, for stars forming in harmony, for life spreading across uninhabited worlds. He realized that every thought, every choice could ripple across the network, shaping countless outcomes. This is incredible," he whispered. "It's like the universe itself is waiting for us to make the next move." "Yes," Elira said softly, "and humans can." Kai reached out mentally, touching one of the unstable currents. At first it resisted, twisting and flickering wildly, but humans had always adapted in the face of challenge. He observed carefully, studying the patterns, learning the rhythm. Slowly, he aligned his intent with the flow. The current stabilized, forming a network of glowing pathways that connected multiple points across the universe. Elira smiled. "You see, humans are not the strongest nor the fastest, but you are clever, adaptable, and bold. You see connections others miss, and you act with insight." Kai felt pride swell in his chest. Every step in Elira's realm had taught him something vital. Humans could survive and thrive because they did not simply react. They understood, learned, and imagined solutions. Here, that strength was magnified, allowing him to influence not just a single place, but the universe itself. He turned his attention to another current, one that flickered uncertainly. It represented a civilization struggling to survive, facing challenges that could erase its potential. Kai focused, imagining the people thriving, collaborating, and overcoming obstacles. Slowly, the current brightened, stabilizing into a harmonious flow of energy that promised life, hope, and growth. "You understand now, Kai," Elira said. "Humans do not conquer by strength alone. You shape the future through creativity, courage, and insight. That is why you are remarkable." Kai smiled, feeling both awe and responsibility. The universe was vast, full of possibilities, and he had the ability to influence it, to guide outcomes in ways that mattered. Humans had always faced impossible odds, but they had survived, adapted, and thrived. Now that same power could ripple through countless worlds. Suddenly, a surge of energy swept across the network. Patterns of light twisted, flickered, and some began to collapse. Kai felt a spike of tension. This was no ordinary challenge. It was a test of coordination, perception, and will. Elira's voice echoed softly. "Do not panic. Humans thrive under challenge. Observe, adapt, and act." Kai focused, analyzing the waves of energy. He noticed the currents that supported each other, the ones that resisted, and the subtle ways they interacted. Using insight rather than force, he began to guide them, linking currents, stabilizing flows, and creating harmony across the network. The flickering currents responded, merging into stable patterns. Kai felt exhilaration. This was not just survival or creation, it was influence on a scale beyond imagination. Humans had always been capable of extraordinary feats, but here, he understood that their ingenuity could shape not only immediate outcomes, but entire systems, civilizations, and possibilities. "You are doing well, Kai," Elira said. "This is the essence of human greatness. You combine courage, observation, creativity, and action. Others may be stronger or faster, but you see, understand, and guide. That is unmatched." Kai continued, moving through the network, stabilizing flows, connecting possibilities, and shaping the patterns of energy. Each action brought a sense of joy and fulfillment. Humans had always dreamed, explored, and built, and now he could see the true extent of that potential. Hours, or perhaps moments, passed. The network stabilized under his guidance, glowing with harmony and life. Kai stepped back, breathing deeply. The vast expanse of possibility shimmered, alive with potential, and he understood the profound truth Elira had been teaching. Humans were not just participants in the universe. They were creators, guides, and innovators. Elira floated beside him. "Kai, do you see now? Humanity has survived, thrived, and shaped its destiny not because of raw strength, but because of insight, courage, and imagination. You influence not by overpowering, but by understanding and guiding. That is your gift." Kai nodded, feeling pride and humility. "I understand. Humans can shape the universe, and we must use that wisely." "Exactly," Elira said, "and now you will return carrying this understanding. Humanity will face challenges, unknowns, and dangers, but the spark within you, the spark of insight, courage, and imagination, will guide your kind to greatness." Kai looked out at the flowing network of possibilities. He thought of the civilizations he had stabilized, the patterns he had connected, the harmony he had created. He realized that humans had always faced obstacles that seemed insurmountable, but they had survived because they did not rely solely on force. They used mind, spirit, and creativity. "You have learned well," Elira said, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Remember this, the universe watches, and it responds to those who act with courage and imagination. Humans carry light where others see darkness." Kai felt a warmth in his chest, a deep connection to both Elira and the universe itself. He realized that his journey was only beginning, but he carried with him something extraordinary, the ability to see, understand, and shape what others could not. As he returned to the observation deck of the Aurora Vanguard, Kai gazed at the stars. Humanity had always reached for them, exploring, building, surviving. Now he understood that their potential was limitless. Insight, courage, imagination, and action, these were the tools that could guide humanity to greatness. Elira's form shimmered beside him. "You have done more than learn, Kai. You have shown that humans can rise above challenges, influence outcomes, and create harmony. That is why your kind is remarkable." Kai smiled, a sense of determination blazing in his heart. "I will remember. Humanity will not just survive, we will thrive, explore, and shape our destiny. And one day we will shine among the stars in ways no one could imagine." Elira's eyes glimmered. "And now, Kai, you carry this understanding back to your people. Teach, guide, and inspire. Humanity's light will grow, and the universe will see what you are capable of." Kai nodded, feeling a deep sense of purpose. He had faced trials, learned to observe, interact, create, and now influence the vast network of possibilities. The lessons of Elira's realm would stay with him forever. Humans were remarkable, not because they were strongest, fastest, or most powerful, but because they were clever, adaptable, courageous, and imaginative. As the Aurora Vanguard drifted through the stars, Kai stood at the observation deck, gazing outward. He felt the weight of responsibility, yes, but also the thrill of potential. Humanity was more than a species. It was a spark of creativity, courage, and willpower in the universe. And with that spark, Kai knew that humans could reach unimaginable heights, shape worlds, and leave a legacy that would shine for eons. The stars stretched endlessly before him, infinite and alive. And for the first time, Kai felt certain that humanity had a place, not just among the stars, but in the very heart of the universe.